I'm Tom.
I'm Peter.
And we're the Wine Guys. And today we have two very special guests.
Yes, we do.
Gary Vaynerchuk, the guru of social media, and Brooks Painter, our director of winemaking. It's just great to have you here.
Thank you.
But well, let's try some of these wines.
Well, we're going to start, Tom, with our Anderson Valley, our white Riesling. Let's put some in the glass. The guy's our guest.
I'm ready.
And Brooks, you know, as a winemaker, why don't you tell us a little bit about this wine?
Sure. Well, white Riesling is a very delicate aromatic variety. Of course, Germany is probably most people are familiar with wines from Germany. The great wines. They're made in a variety of styles. And residual sugar, maturity, and harvest play a key role in how the wine tastes. This particular wine, Anderson Valley, it comes from a cool coastal valley up in Mendocino County. It's an ideal site for white Riesling. And this is finished with about 2% residual sugar. It's very floral in the nose, just very delicate. Goes with a wide variety of foods, whether it's cheeses or a lot of people like to try it with spicy foods, Asian foods. Kind of Pacific Rim cuisine is a great match for this wine.
Brooks, what's the difference between white Riesling and Riesling for everybody out there?
Well, white Riesling is the true name for the grape, and actually Johannesburg Riesling was a commonplace name used for a long time. In fact, here at Visa Tui we used to label Johannesburg Riesling, but the accurate name is white Riesling. There were some other crosses that were also known as Riesling, but the true Riesling is the white Riesling.
Like Sylvaner Riesling. It's not even really a Riesling.
That's right. It's not a Riesling. Yeah.
Right.
And then of course there was a gray Riesling, green Riesling, Hungarian,
Sure.
all these various names that had come up.
Johannesburg was really prevalent when I first got into the business. I mean, that's,
And it was very, the name Johannesburg comes from Schloss Johannesburger in the Rheingau, on the Rhine River. So that was kind of the
Shortened version.
The shortened version. That's how people in this country became to know Riesling, white Riesling.
What are we supposed to do here?
sniffy sniff.
That's
So
right.
you know the rule, boys. So, I'll just jump in on that point as that little segue. I always talk about the sniffy snip on my show. I think that fundamentally one of the biggest mistakes that the consumer in the U.S. market does is they don't smell their wines enough. I think that the aromatics are such a romantic part of the process, and people just, need a little foreplay action, boys. I mean, you got to smell a little bit. I mean, just a little snippy snip.
Yeah, right.
People just pop and pour and drink, and I think the aromatics really prime the palate, and more importantly, I think we've all been there. I mean, I've been into some red wines and white wines as well that I'll smell for 25, 30 minutes. I mean, where I enjoy the bouquet and smelling it much more than
It's
actually
our
drinking.
the sense.
And then too, as it evolves in the glass or during the course of your meal in the evening,
Sure.
it gets better.
What are you guys picking up on the nose here?
There's a nice mineral character, a little flinty, but also that floral honeysuckle aromatics.
To me, I just think it's really fragrant.
It's kind of spicy on the nose. There's something like, clove, a little bit clovey, like,
Yeah, and that's
white flour.
That's typical Anderson Valley,
Yeah.
coastal northern coast.
It's the one valley that sort of runs west to east compared to these other valleys running north-south. So the marine influence is very
It's
strong.
hitting it. Like a sea salt kind of thing, right? Oh, a fly got into my glass.
Really?
That is awesome. Can you guys zoom in on this? This is amazing. Should I drink the fly?
No,
I've drank many
no.
flies. No?
It's the
It's not-
protein,
It's not an eco challenge here, so.
This isn't like an extreme food.
It is that time of the year up here in Napa Valley.
Is it a fruit fly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is brilliant.
Well, during the harvest, we're inundated with a lot of fruit
Can you get
flies.
it?
Yeah, we have a little, all that must is out there from Crush.
That's funny.
Yes, as you drive up and down the valley, you can smell the fermenting must and the grapes. And
This wine's showing really well. I'll tell you one thing that I'm very impressed with that I clearly thought would be, because it's not super, super chilled, which I drink all white wine at room temperature.
As we serve it here.
That's a different debate for another day.
Sure.
I'm glad to hear that you guys are on my team. It's a tough debate. But because of that, I did expect the alcohol to kind of hit me on the back end, because that will happen when you're drinking at room temperature. But I think this wine, the fruit really contains the alcohol. I'm surprised I'm not getting any heat on the back end.
That's right. We try and show the wines because if it's so cold, you can't taste it.
That's right.
It just you have to tempt it.
Well, what I like about this site too, up in Anderson Valley, is that you just get some really good natural acidity. And so here's a wine that could be rather fat with the high residual sugar, but the acid, I think, really balances it. And
Did you find the 08 vintage to be a more, a vintage of more excitement for Riesling than 07 or 06?
Well, the pHs were very much in control, which is really important for
Yeah.
a wine that has residual sweetness like
Sure.
this. So this is right at 3, which is, gives it that nice steely backbone for the fruit and kind of frames the residual sugar.
Cool.
Yeah. All right,
Should we
let's
move on?
get on to the
Yeah,
next
it's
one.
good.
All right, we have
And just by the way, I think we have about 200 cases of that wine remaining.
Oh, that's right, that's
And I
not
think we've
much.
only made about 750, so really small production for us, but a great site.
That's where they're coming from, you see, they got.
There's all sorts of fruit flies.
Fruit flies.
Now, we're in our gold room here, which is just off our cellar club, and it's right in the cellar of our winery, and this time of year, we get all these fruit flies. Of course, they're just having fun with all the grape must and all the fermenting wines, and these are some of our older vintages
Yeah.
and some old whites and reds.
Pops a 96 Shard.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we had some the other day, it was
Yeah, great
fantastic.
vintage.
And there was a 97, but I think I had the last one, Tom.
Yeah, we didn't share that. Thanks.
So what is this, the 07 Russian River's Inn?
That's right. We call
Crow
this
Ridge?
Crow
Crow
Ridge.
Ridge, it's from sort of the elbow, the benchland of just east side of the Russian River in Chalk Hill area.
Yeah, is from 94-year-old vines.
Youngsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as is the case with many of these older vineyards, it's a field blend. So there's some Petit Syrah, there's some Carignan, there's some Alicante Bouschet. There's even some Golden Chasselas in there. These
No way.
white clusters are, as long as your
No,
foot.
no blue Portuguese?
I haven't found any yet. But these vines are all
I love the
individuals
field
after
blend
90
stuff.
years.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love when people go there, especially Carignan and Petit Syrah.
Yeah.
Great compliments to Zen.
That's what's so great to me about Zinfandel. They are characterizations of the terroir of every different little vineyard, and we make 9 of them now,
Yeah.
and they're all different, and they're all great in their own way.
Well, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, and we're talking about this field blend. In the old days,
That's how it was.
That's how it was. The blending really wasn't done in the wine cellar. It was really done in the vineyard. And today, it's all about, okay, let's get all the components here. Let's assemble them here in the wine cellar. In the old days, it wasn't that way.
There's no doubt in my mind there'll be a push in the other direction eventually.
Yeah.
It's just the way it always goes with wine history.
What's interesting from year to year is one variety will be a little heavier one year and a little lighter the next year. So even though you're harvesting the same vineyard, the blends are actually changing with the vintages as well, creating a little more uniqueness to the vintage.
And Brooks, do you find too this co-fermentation of these different varieties it's just when you're fermenting it all together is different than blending it afterwards?
Well, there's certainly some thinking that the earlier you blend, that you marry and knit together the different complexities of each grape. I think that certainly the use of Petit Syrah, which is an inky black variety, goes very well as a blender with Zinfandel. Has a nice tannic structure. Zinfandel tends to be a little softer, so Petit Syrah will give it a little more aging time, a little more structure. And so, yeah, it's very interesting to see it in the fermenter and see all these grapes come in together. To
Very
produce.
jammy on the nose.
Oh, yeah, this is
A lot of
just
black
Blackberry.
blackberry.
It's definitely dark fruit. There's definitely more of the blackberry, blueberry, mulberry thing than the strawberry, cherry thing. You're definitely getting a darker fruit component.
Which I really like. That's
And a little bit of pepper.
Yeah, the black
Yeah.
pepper is
Mhm.
definitely there. And we're with Zinfandel. Zinfandel is a heritage grape in California. It's been here, for 150 plus years.
Isn't it the official grape of California now? Right?
Yeah, it is. For the longest time.
governor-
I don't know if they
Didn't the
signed
governor
that
do
yet.
something?
They
Didn't
tried-
sign it, huh?
No, I don't think
Didn't
they
come
signed
through,
it.
huh?
No, didn't.
Wow, who stopped that?
The Cabernet producers.
I love it.
The Chardonnay
I
producers.
love it.
But no, it's absolutely our heritage. It's the first grape grown here.
The
I think.
politics are so fascinating.
Isn't it amazing?
I could just see the Cabernet producers popping
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
we can't let
Well,
that
that's right.